If you're planning to buy a home, you've probably been told to focus on your down payment. And yes, that matters. But here's what I see all the time. Buyers feel prepared, and then they get to the final stages of the process and realize there are several other costs they didn't fully account for. And they're not small ones either. So today I want to walk you through the real cost of buying a home in Portland beyond the down payment, so you can go into this process with clear expectations and not surprises. Before we get into numbers, I want to say this. Feeling unsure about cost is completely normal, especially if this is your first time buying. There's a lot of information out there, and not all of it is explained in a way that actually helps you plan. My goal here isn't to overwhelm you, it's to give you a clear, honest picture so you can make decisions with more confidence. In this video, we'll be talking about 2 categories of payments, and I'll walk you through each one in order of when they come up in the process. The first category is money you'll pay before you have the keys to your new house in your hand. That starts with earnest money. Once your offer has been accepted, you'll need to make a good faith deposit in the form of earnest money. Earnest money is a way of putting down money up front to show the seller you're serious. It's typically around 1% of the purchase price. So for a $500,000 home, your earnest deposit would likely be around $5,000. This money will go toward your down payment if you move forward with the purchase, or it will be returned to you if you walk away during the inspection period. So if you're budgeting for your down payment already, the great news is this isn't an additional amount on top of that down payment. It's money you should already have on hand. Next up, inspections. When your offer has been accepted, you're in contract, and that means you're in the inspection period. This is a time you have to evaluate the home with the support of a professional home inspector. There are different levels of a home inspection you can get, and the price is largely determined by square footage. Most buyers will do at least a general home inspection, which costs in the Portland area around $400 to $700. Depending on the home, you might also consider additional inspections, including sewer scope, which is roughly $150 to $300, radon testing for around $150 to $250, and additional specialized inspections for the roof, foundation, and any outbuildings like barns or workshops. Not every home needs every possible inspection, but it's important to know that you'll need to pay the home inspector directly, usually the day the inspections happen. Now, I'm gonna put on my mom voice when I say, do not skip a home inspection. I know inspections are just another thing to spend money on. Not only are you learning valuable information about a structure you're planning on spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on when you purchase it, you're also well within your rights to walk away from the transaction because you learned there's something expensively wrong that you don't want to have to deal with. Okay, mom rant over. On to the next item, appraisals. If you're getting a home appraisal, you'll need to budget around $700 to $1,000 for it. Why would you get or not get an appraisal? Well, if you're being financed for your purchase, an appraisal is required because the bank wants to know if the home you're buying is worth the amount they're paying for it. If you're not being financed and instead buying a home with cash, you can still choose to pay for an appraisal so that you have an idea of what an outside party says the home is worth, but it's not required to move forward with the purchase. Appraisal costs will be paid out of pocket to your lender if you're getting financed, or directly to the appraisal company if not. Now, you've put down earnest money, you've made it through the inspections without anything too scary, you've paid for an appraisal, and you're at the finish line. Don't put your wallet away just yet, because now you've got closing costs. Closing costs are the fees you pay to finalize the purchase of the home. In Oregon, closing costs for buyers are typically about 2% to 5% of the purchase price. So let's put that into real numbers. On a $500,000 home, that's roughly $10,000 to $25,000. That range can vary depending on the terms of your loan, but there are 4 things usually included: loan origination fees, title insurance, escrow fees, and any prepaid property taxes and insurance. In a nutshell, closing costs are monies that are in addition to your down payment, and they're due at the time of closing. Being unprepared for closing costs is often one of the biggest reasons buyers feel financially stretched at the end of the transaction if they're not prepared for it up front. Congratulations, you just bought a house. And now we're at the second category of payments I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Everything named up until now was money you paid before the house was yours. Now that you own the home, there are additional payments you'll likely be making beyond your monthly mortgage. If you receive financing for the home purchase, you'll pay what's called your monthly PITI. That stands for payments, interest, taxes, and insurance. Your mortgage payments and loan interest is determined by the terms of your loan, and you'll know early on in the purchasing process what these numbers are going to look like. Your property taxes and home insurance are paid along with your mortgage and interest payment. That means you're just sending one lump payment to your lender that includes each of these items. Your taxes and insurance payments go into an escrow account to ensure they get paid every year. The cost of your home insurance is determined by your insurance company. Of course, these numbers will vary according to the area that you live in and any special considerations for your home, but you'll typically spend around $100 to $200 per month on home insurance. In Portland, property taxes vary depending on the specific area, but a general estimate is around 0.9% to 1.2% of the home's assessed value annually. So again, let's use the example of a $500,000 home. Property taxes for a $500,000 home are roughly $4,500 to $6,000 per year, or about $375 to $500 per month. So that plus $100 to $200 for home insurance brings you to $475 or $600 monthly, in addition to your mortgage payment and loan interest. Another monthly payment you may need to make are HOA fees. If you're buying a condo, townhome, or a home in newer developments, you might have HOA dues. These vary a lot, but in the Portland area, you'll often see $200 to $500 or more per month, depending on the amenities included. There are some developments that have much lower HOA fees, as low as $20 or $30 a month, but these tend to be specifically for lower income housing or specialty loans. HOA dues might cover things like exterior maintenance, landscaping, and insurance for shared spaces. Lastly, to be a responsible homeowner, you'll want to set aside money on a regular basis for maintenance and repairs. A common guideline for how much to allocate to home maintenance is to plan for 1% to 3% of the home's value each year. So again, using that $500,000 home, you'd be wise to set aside about $5,000 to $15,000 annually. Of course, this doesn't mean you're going to spend all of that every year. Some years you'll have low maintenance costs, and others you might need to replace some HVAC, replace the roof, or pay a plumber to fix a leaky sink. By setting aside money before you need it, you can avoid having to take out an additional loan when facing a maintenance or repair issue. Putting a few $100s in a separate account each month can slowly build up that stash. All right, let's zoom out for a second because we covered a lot of ground. We talked through the money you need to have on hand before the home is yours, and you saw the ongoing payments you need to plan for once you're finally there. None of this is meant to scare you, but as a real estate agent, my job is to protect your financial decisions, and the best way to do that is to help people become educated on what it is they're paying for, how much, when, and to who. Because when you understand the full picture, you can plan for it, and the process feels a lot more manageable. If you're in the early stages of thinking about buying, I'm happy to help you think through your options. And if you found this video helpful, I have more videos on my channel that break down the different parts of the buying process in a really straightforward way. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.